All right, guys, we're here. We're live. Another podcast, Poker Live podcast. My name's Joe Ingram1. We're on location here. We got a unique experience today because we're going to have a third friend here today. We have, what's the name? What's the dog's name?
Penny.
Penny. We're joined by Penny the dog and Mike Gorodinsky, but Gorodinsky.
Yeah.
But Gordo. When I was Googling Gordo. Yeah, when I was like Googling the name to like know the exact name, I
You got a little mixed up.
Yeah, I got a little mixed up on there.
Everyone, it's all good.
So we're on location. We're live here in San Diego. We're still out in California. We're doing a bunch of podcasts. Gordo, some people might not know you. You're pretty old school. You've been around the poker world, I feel like, for quite a long time now.
Yep.
I guess, tell people about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from?
Myself the person or myself the poker player?
Myself the poker player for right now.
The poker player, okay. Yeah, I mean, I started playing poker way back once. I am kind of a dinosaur. I played on Party. Like everyone else, I had no idea what I was doing. Somehow made money despite just completely clueless button jamming. And then I was kind of around in the beginning when PLO came around. And so I was just there before everyone, so I was a little ahead of the curve. And so I guess like most people in poker, if they recognize my name, would know me from playing high stakes, PLO online before it was cool, when the games were just kind of starting up. And then when everyone jumped in, I was kind of around to get a little bit of the crumbs. And yeah, and then that's it. I haven't really played since Black Friday. I play live mostly now. But my internet fame comes from PLO online.
Your screen name was Gordo16 on PokerStars, and on Full Tilt it was
Mikey G16.
Mikey G16.
Super creative.
Oh, because I guess some people want to like mix up their names on the sites and not be
right. It wasn't too tough to figure out who was playing when I was on.
That makes sense. But you said you they want me to get a high stakes live LA guy on, or a mixed game player on.
Okay.
You're kind of both of those for the most part, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call myself an LA guy, but yeah, I do play live, big mix, and yeah, I mean, it sounds like that's what you're looking for, so that is what I do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think people like hear LA live player and they have this like glam. It's like such a glamorous like just being like in LA and playing in these games or the high. I don't exactly know what people think goes on out in LA. Tell us, what is it like out there?
I mean, my experiences with LA are different than that for sure. Like, if you play private, maybe that's what it's like. You're in the. I mean, I don't play private in LA, so it's all hearsay. But you're in the games, just like naked women walking around, huge stakes, everyone's wasted. I guess that is glamorous to some people. But like, if you go to Commerce and play there, the games are kind of big, but it's far from glamorous. It's just a grind. You see the same people, and it's like, I don't know. It's definitely not glamorous. It's fun in its own way, and it's kind of cool, but it's for sure grind. And like, the stakes are big, but that's pretty much the only glamorous part of it.
What kind of stakes normally run there that you participate in?
Year round, I'm not really in LA too much. Like, I'm not really in Commerce randomly. I go for LAPC, and during LAPC, it's
oh my God, I was trying to figure out a way. I might have to actually adjust the.
Yeah, you might have to just pile some pillows.
Let's do a little editing here.
Oh yeah.
Hello, little dog. I don't want to sit in your head.
It's okay. Just fine. You can just get in there, man.
Just get in there.
Yeah. But I'm only there for LAPC, and the games there will go anywhere from like 400 to 800 is kind of the limit that everyone plays, and then it goes up to 1K, 2K, which kind of weeds out a bunch of the player pool. And that's what, like, I just got back from LA where I got soul crushed, and the games there were like 1K, 2K, like a really big limit deuce and PLO game.
So you played, what is it that equate to in PLO?
Well, so the PLO portion of it was, so you keep the blinds the same. So the blinds for 1K, 2K deuce are 500, 1,000. So you keep 500, 1,000 for the blinds, and then you drag in 200 off the small blind and 500 off the big blind. So the blinds become 300, 500 with like dead money in the middle. And then it plays with a 25K cap and a 35K cap and straddle. Way too big. Way too big.
I'm just thinking about this. I'm like, wait a goddamn minute. This seems fucking huge.
Yeah, I think that game definitely broke some people. It's way too big.
What? 355 with a 25K cap.
It's 300, 500 blinds.
Right. Okay.
With a 25K cap. Pretty shallow, and you have like a bunch of guys that just kind of like.
That's like 50 big. Well, yeah, it seems like extremely easy to end up getting, especially if so does the game still play where it's like 6-7 way pre-flop and 5 way pre-flop.
Yeah, more or less.
And there's a 50 big blind
cap gets hit a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a bloody game. I think some people are pretty wounded afterwards.
I mean, it seems like the variance in that game has to be.
It's outrageous. Yeah, it was a painful game to play, and like Deuce is one of the more high variance.
So what game is that? So I'm not super familiar with that game.
With Deuce, so it's Deuce to 7. You're making a low hand, so you get 3 draws to make 2, 3, 4,
Deuce
5,
to 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so that plays as limit or no limit?
It plays as limit. I mean,
okay.
Sometimes people will play it as like a pot limit game, but almost exclusively it's a limit game, and it's in like the mix online, the 8-game mix.
Okay. People in the chat, guys, we are live streaming this. Any comments or questions, you guys are more welcome to leave them in the chat. They say Gordo is fat in Spanish.
That is accurate. Yeah, so the nickname's like an ironic nickname because I've always been pretty like thin, lean, whatever. And so my last name's Gorodinsky. It just kind of morphed.
Morphed into Gordo. It's like, Poppy, what's up, Bruno? Do you ever say Poppy?
I've said Poppy before.
I say Poppy all the time.
Yeah, I try to limit it. I don't know if it's really my style, but I feel like you're good at it. It works for you.
Appreciate that. Some speculation. The dog might be depressed. You okay, dog?
Oh, no, the dog's just super tired.
You okay? Oh,
this is the furthest from a depressed dog in history. Yeah, there we go. Yep. There we go. He's getting comfortable.
Some speculation. The dog may have known my friend Brian, who was on an episode, and he was also depressed. So maybe they think we're friends. We are. Brian does live in San Diego, by the way, guys. So I know you guys didn't get to see him the other day, unfortunately. But Bruno, what's up, Bruno? Puppy, puppy. Try saying it.
Puppy.
You're good at it. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, so you just got back from LAPC, playing a lot of High Stakes Live. Now you live here full-time San Diego.
Yep.
What's life like in San Diego?
Life is good, man. So I've been back for, like 5 days, I guess. I haven't really played poker at all. I've gone surfing one day, played beach volleyball one day. Went to a punk show last night, which was my first experience. That was pretty interesting.
We're at House of Blues or something?
Yeah.
Did you really go there? Yeah. No way. I walked right by there. I was like, I walked by, I looked in the band, I looked inside, I was like,
it was an experience. It was my first one. It was pretty funny. But yeah, so I've just been like chilling. And the weather's great, so I just like walk the dogs. Life's good, man.
The weather is really great here. It's like 80 degrees here right today, guys. It's perfectly sunny out there. I couldn't see a cloud in the sky right here. So I mean, I guess I would ask, why did you relocate out of the country to keep playing online poker? But it seems like, I
definitely thought about it. I just, but I didn't want to like give it all up because I didn't want to move away from friends and family. And there's a big enough game here to support me. So it just didn't seem like I needed to. Like, I miss playing online, but one of the best parts about playing online is that you can kind of form your own schedule and live the life you want to live with it. And living abroad and grinding online wasn't the life I wanted with it. So
right. So you haven't played at all really online? You played when you entered and stuff like that?
I haven't played at all. I haven't played a single hand of online poker since Black Friday. I mean, I played on like Carbon, I guess, or whatever the side. Like, I kind of dumped some money on the little sites just to like play a little bit just for the sake of it, But I haven't really taken any grinding.
Oh yeah, speaking of the U.S. site, I just chatted with you about this, but I'm in the thread in 2+2. I mentioned I met a couple people in L.A. One of the people was Melanie Weisner, and I said I wanted to potentially have her on a podcast, and the people reminded me like she was involved in the lock money. She was telling players that. I guess I'd forgotten about this stuff. I honestly don't even know if I remember reading much about it because I wasn't paying super close attention to lock at the time.
Yeah, like I don't think it really processed in me either. I remember there was some kind of like weird rumor about the site in general, but I don't know.
Somebody in the thread thought that I should, because I do podcasts, I should know everything that happens in poker at all times, and I just didn't know much about it. And they posted a link, Zima421 on a podcast. He mentioned something about her. And quite honestly, I just forgot about it. I mean, I thought I met her. She seemed like she seemed pretty fun. She was a girl. Obviously we love having women on. That's feminist a little bit. I apologize, but yeah. So guys, actually, I really think you kind of think it would make it almost more interesting to have somebody like that on because you can kind of.
You can get to the bottom of things. Yeah, you can ask about it, in like a honest live setting, and then also I think she's probably like an interesting person anyway. But yeah, like especially someone that has a little bit of like drama associated with them. It'd be nice to have them on and just like. Ask some tough questions, get in there, prod around.
I agree. I mean, I had the airport scammer guy, and if you read about that airport scammer on 2+2, he'd go to he's a poker player, Michael Borovitz. He went to the airport and would say he's a college student that needed money to get home, and he would take all the money he made and go play poker with it.
Oh my God.
And I had that guy on a fucking podcast. If I could have that guy on a podcast, I could certainly have Melanie Weisner on a podcast to talk about the lock stuff. If anything, I think that makes me more want to get to the bottom of it, but sometimes people think if I have someone on, I'm like glamorizing them in a way. And I shouldn't bring any more glamour or attention to someone who's had that sort of impact. I mean, it was pretty fucked up when I'm reading about it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see both angles of it. I can see how people would be upset, and then I can see how it would be kind of cool from your end.
Yeah. I'll think about it more. Christian, what's up, Harder? You know Charter? Christian?
I do, yeah.
He asks, did you and your dog go on dog dates with Claude and his dog? Okay.
We have been on 2 dog dates now with Claude and his dog. Claude's dog is kind of a bitch, though.
That's Chris Klodnicki?
Yeah, so he just moved here with his fiance. Yeah, he has a dog, but it's like a wimpy little thing. Penny gets bored.
Yeah, this dog looks like it's about that life.
Oh yeah.
Wim says Joey wants to play chess with Melanie. Oh, I know, man. Come on. You know what playing a game of chess is with a girl?
No.
It's when, let's say, for instance, hypothetically speaking, you're a woman.
Okay.
Hypothetically, this is my house.
Okay.
I invite you over to play chess.
Okay.
Typically, that chess match might take place in a bedroom.
Okay. Sure.
This was
now I understand.
Now you understand what chess means.
Okay.
It's like a hangout. You know, you can invite a girl over. You can make some dinner, some wine,
play a little chess. Okay.
Play a little chess. Okay. Yeah. And what I heard from Jen Shahad, who former women's chess master, is that back in the day, this used to be a common way that men and women would hang out because they didn't want to say like, oh, I'm going to hang out with this person. We're going to go play chess.
Okay.
And chess was like a date sort of thing for like back in the day. So.
Interesting. Just in her circle or like in general? Because like I know Jen, and I know she's like a big time chess player. So just for her and her friends, or like?
Well, no, this was back in the day. Like it was like talked about in the history books.
Oh, really?
Like actual the course of history. So, Poppy, you coming back in, Doug, or what?
No. Probably just gonna sit here for a while.
So, what kind of stuff do you do out here? I guess when how often are you playing poker? Are you playing at Palomar here? Are you hanging out with girlfriend? Hanging out with Penny here?
So, I mean, basically my philosophy is kind of like, if I have anything better to do than play poker, I just do that for the most part, unless I'm like really in the mood to grind. So if I have like a date opportunity, if I have, a chance to go to some beer fest and like tasting, whatever, I do that. But if I am like grinding hard, I play. So when like, the mix game here isn't that regular anymore, but when it was, like I'd play Monday through Friday, 12 to every casino closes at 2 a.m. here, so I play like 12 to 2 or whenever the game broke. And then now the game's kind of private in San Diego, which is just a huge pain in the ass. And it's a PLO game, but it took like a lot of like the recreational players away. And so, I like am kind of allowed to play in it. There's one old guy that doesn't want me to play. It's like this weird drama. So like I can't play on the days that he's there, but I can play on other days. So I never know if I'm going to be like working basically. Like I get a call last minute. It's like, hey, come down and play today. And I have to like drive an hour to play. It's just a big headache. And it's kind of happening everywhere. Like poker's just getting privatized, or live poker at least.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think the games with the highest stakes are all like why? What do you think changed? I feel like it's probably the environment's probably been the same in live poker for years now in terms of attack the weak player sort of thing, game breaks when the weak player leaves.
Yeah.
Like what's changed from their perspective that these games are now becoming that way? I'm
not really sure. Maybe like a desire for privacy from the guys that are losing big. Because I mean, it's it's like mildly embarrassing to just like go in and consistently lose and have to write out the fat checks. But then also, I mean, like the one benefit of live poker is like they do create a good environment. It's like there's like good-looking girls around. There's whatever kind of food, drink you want. It's always like the games are always in nice places. Whereas, especially in San Diego, I mean, the card rooms are admittedly kind of a dump. Like they're they're not in great areas. It's there's not like good food you can get. It's like cramped, kind of a dirty environment. So like in some ways, like I'm a little bitter that the game's private because it's harder for me and it's more of a headache. But like in some ways, I can see why it does go private.
So what's like the private game like? You mentioned was there girls walking around, massages. So I know one girl who gives massages at a private game.
Okay.
And every game's different, I guess here. So what's it like?
That can mean all sorts of things. The game that I'm talking about is actually like really conservative as far as private games go. Like the girls are, they're like not dressed as scandalously as you'll find in other games, and it's not that shady. It's not like a handsy place. So there's like served drinks, basically food, and just like chit chat. I mean, it's pretty low key. A lot of the players are older in the game, so it's not as wild as you'll find in some places.
You ever been to a game where it's more the girls maybe get a little more hands-on? Maybe the guys are there for the entertainment, and poker's like a secondary sort of thing. Yeah,
I mean, poker's always more or less the forefront, but yeah, I mean, like I have been to like the wilder environments, and they're more or less like exactly what you'd think. The rake is astronomical, but the players are worse, and it's kind of Yeah, I mean, it's more of a party than a poker game, which is fun in its own way.
Do you partake in the party there, or are you more focused on in that situation? Are you always focused on?
I mean, I'll drink and I'll smoke a blunt here and there or something, but I'm not gonna. But I don't really push it past that. If I'm
not taking the girls to the back. Okay,
I'm not doing anything.
Okay. Even if you were, of course you don't do that. I mean, no, he doesn't do that. That's for sure.
Hey man, I'm an open book. I don't mind. If I did, I'd tell you. But that's not for me.
I think I've never really been to one of these live private games because you hear this is like a big thing people always talk about these live private games. It just seems like it seems like the ability. I guess Wim mentioned this in the chat. People skills is probably one of the biggest things, and that almost starts. And I think actually a lot of people watching this are people that play live in the United States right now who maybe don't think about these at all. And even I think it's becoming more of a popular topic, or just the ability to talk to people,
the ability to
communicate.
It's even more than that. So it's funny to play online. You just have to be really good at poker. You have to be like a very, very smart, good thought out poker player. You have to be able to analyze ranges, all that stuff. Whereas to play private, and especially to play big private, you have to be a winning poker player to some extent, but you do not have to be good at all. The only thing you really have to be good at is networking and being able to get invited back. That's all that matters. And that's why it's kind of frustrating actually. There's a lot of jealousy for me in live poker because I see all these people that are just so bad at poker that are just making a killing because they're really good at getting invited back and really good at building these strong connections with the fish. And it's just power to them. It's a totally different skill set than I have, but it is a skill set.
Let's think about that. So what are they doing that's good? How are they building those strong relationships
They're just
with people?
so good at bullshitting. And I'm pretty good at bullshitting, but they're just I don't know. They just do it in a way that to me comes across fake, but that the fish just love, man. They just eat it up. It's they're able to build these interpersonal connections that to me as an outside observer seem fake, but that just that get it done, I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. It reminds me of somebody I know who rose through the San Diego nightclub rankings. So he started off as a micro stakes nightclub player, and he rose up. Now he's playing at the highest stakes in the San Diego nightclub scene. And I think one of his biggest abilities is that ability to just connect with people and to make people like him, really.
Right.
And that's kind of.
I mean, it's huge. It's a huge life skill to have.
I wonder if they teach it anywhere. A training site isn't really putting out a video this is how to, because there are people out here who want to play these high stakes live games, and they probably might be terrible at getting into the games. They're terrible at talking to the people, and
a lot of guys that came from the online world are legitimately terrible at talking to people, and just especially at talking to rich whales that just are looking to have fun and not looking to chat strategy or something.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give them? If you had to give them two pieces of advice, obviously you said admittedly yourself that's something you could probably be better at too.
Yeah, well, the way that I approach it, which probably isn't the optimal way, but I just give a ton of action. When I'm playing poker, I play. I play just in a style that's definitely not highest optimal EV because it's just fun, man. People have fun when they're gambling a little bit. I don't mind getting it in as a 3% favorite as opposed to a 30% favorite. I'll take the variance and then hope for something good to happen later. That's all right with me.
How good do you run? Honestly, that's you guys. If you ever say a statement like that, you run good. I gotta promise you right now. If you say I don't mind getting in with 3%, no, as
a 3% favorite. With 53%.
Oh, okay.
No.
If I get into 3%, if I get into 3% equity, I'm fine. I was holy shit, how good do you run if you're thinking that's fine?
No, I mean, I still like to be a favorite when I'm getting it, but you know what I mean? It's I don't necessarily wait for these locked moments when I'm playing with bad players, especially if there's some if I feel there's going to be some other benefit, to me giving action or whatever it might be.
So you're saying you're not a nit, basically?
I am definitely not a nit.
You have a heads-up PLO background, which requires you playing. What kind of BPIP did you play heads-up PLO?
Very close to 100.
Okay, so you've kind of taken that 100% BPIP strategy and you brought it over to full ring live. And it seems to be working.
It's all right. I mean, I don't play too much PLO these days. Honestly, I'm probably a loser in most PLO games I play in now. But yeah, I kind of bring it to mix. You can't really do it when you play limit games, but I still try to push the boundaries of hands play.
Makes sense. Stephen asks, Joey, ask him, isn't playing primarily live PLO a good opportunity for a year-long swing?
As far as variance goes, or what?
Yeah, Stefan, could you let me change the question a little bit and let me know. Bob Mob says podcast dog, official podcast dog.
Oh,
okay, we're just gonna. That dog's awesome, man.
She'll be back later.
I know a guy like Roy Bazin, who's a PokerStars PLO guy. He mentioned that. I think he said on Twitter. He asked him about the dog. What's the story on your dog? Like, where is your dog from? Where'd you get your dog?
My dog is from here.
Do you allege that it is the best dog in the world?
Best dog in the world. I wouldn't take it that far. Poker world, definitely. No, she's a good dog. I guess it's like almost embarrassing to admit it these days. But like, I got her from breeder in Alpine. She's my first dog. Didn't really know much about her. Just wanted to get a hypoallergenic dog, and I like golden retrievers, so I got a golden doodle, which is a golden retriever poodle mix.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a very good dog. She's a lover. Not that bright, but very good dog.
Do you find that it's GTO to take your dog around and pick up women?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How does that happen? Because there's a guy I know, David Gordo16, who he's married, and so unfortunately, he can't actually.
Actually, I take my dog with him a lot.
Okay.
Penny knows cash well.
He was actually shared a strategy with me that if you have a child, you take a child.
Right.
But he speculated that might be a strategy as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but the dog definitely works. I can't say anything for a human child, but
so what?
Okay, come on.
Okay. So what is it like when how does that happen? You're walking with a dog. How does this?
I usually kind of like women will approach me with her because they'll just be like, I mean, it's a really easy line, but typically like someone will come up, especially around like OB, and there's a lot of early 30s single mothers that are fit, walking around with their kids, and they'll just be like, "Oh my God, so beautiful," like that kind of an opener, and I'll just be like, "Thank you." That's like my dog is pretty good looking too. I don't know if you noticed. It's too easy, And let's be honest, she is a good looking dog, as you guys can see.
It's true. I think we turned the quality down today, guys, a little bit. So I'm gonna put it back up to because I'm on Wi-Fi over here. Let me change the quality and see if it gets any better for you guys. Let me know if there's any lag or any delay or something like that, or if the audio is still fine, guys. You know what, guys? I think we figured out something today. We actually already was I bit as a kid. It looks like I am, wasn't I? I know. I'm like I used to be terrified of dogs. I'm not sure why I used to be terrified of dogs.
Oh, really?
But now I've gotten a lot better with dogs, but I'm still like kind of
a little skittish.
When I was younger, man.
I was terrified of dogs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just absolutely, because I got bit really bad when I was a kid. So for a long time, I was terrified. I just kind of forced myself.
Yeah, I've definitely been getting way like before I couldn't even sit next to it really. When I was younger, yeah, I was just like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Well, luckily for you, she's a lover.
Yeah, actually, we learned something today. We're all getting a dog. Anyone out there that's a single guy, you need a dog, and that's kind of what we figured out.
It helps, especially get a puppy. The puppy stage is the best. Like puppy stage, I couldn't even go outside without getting harassed. So it was nice.
So you don't get harassed if the dog's bigger. So almost GTO is like, get rid of your dogs as they get bigger. And
yeah, just get puppies and toss them in the trash.
We're not advocating that, guys.
I don't
okay?
actually advocate.
Don't start a 2+2 thread about that. Gordo,
Yeah.
Old school player Gordo speculates throwing dogs out is the optimal way to deal with them. Please, we don't want any sort of outbreak here.
No scandal, please.
All right, so we're in San Diego. You play poker. You go to the beach.
Right.
Volleyball. Hang out with the dog.
Sure.
Girlfriend out here, wife. No wife. You don't have a wife.
I've been like kind of casually dating the same girl now for the last month. We've been on like a bunch of dates. Don't know if I'd call her my girlfriend, but it's like probably mutual. I don't know. I think we're like mutually exclusive. I don't know.
The trend on here with all the old school poker players I have on is that they all have girlfriends. Like Cole, long term. I think his wife now, right?
Yeah.
Raptor, long term girlfriend. I can't think of a couple other older guys. It seems like everyone's got a fucking girlfriend that I've had on. There's these old school guys that used to play a lot of online. Now they're out of poker.
All right.
They always have a girlfriend. Maybe it's because they are pretty eligible bachelors. They've done really well. Like, why wouldn't a girl want to swoop these guys up? That's kind of my thinking. But for you,
I mean, shit, I would swoop Cole up.
Cole is moving here, by the way, guys out there. So that might be
that might be in the books.
Cole's wife. Watch out, man.
Yeah, Larissa, I'm on it.
Yeah. So why do you think that you've avoided this?
I don't know.
This love, this trap, this trap of, or not trap, this
trap,
this wonderful thing.
Tell me how you really feel about it. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I guess I'm like somewhat picky in the girls that I date. So I haven't. I don't know. Actually, I haven't like been in a very serious relationship in like 4 years now. So I dated a girl that was actually going to move to the States, and her visa. So she's an Australian, and her visa got denied.
Okay.
And so after that, I was like, oh, that was a bummer. And then I just didn't really seriously date anyone for a really long time. I just kind of like would have these like few month relationships, and then they'd be fun. It's kind of
you're 29, right?
Yeah.
So do you think poker is you think you're better off not having a relationship for poker? Do you think you do well or better, I guess, poker gambling in general because being single?
I think for sure. I mean, poker is like this thing that you really have to be fully committed to be the best at, which I guess is probably true for most professions, most fields.
Mm-hmm.
But like, especially for poker and like for people that play mixed, it's always evolving. There's always new games, new variations, new something. And so if you're not really like entrenched in it, you kind of fall behind. I mean, it's natural. And so, like, I don't necessarily think that having a girlfriend makes you a worse poker player, but it's just it's not a time sink, but it's a commitment away from poker. So it's like you have to put in the hours with, as an interpersonal relationship. So you're going to get worse at poker. It's just the way it is.
So you think that to be, I guess, as successful as you can be almost at poker, it's almost like you have to be, you can't, I mean, because it seems like a lot of players do still have, but maybe they didn't have a girlfriend before, maybe they've gotten a girlfriend now, which might be a reason why a lot of people stop playing so much poker
they might just prioritize their life in different ways. Because like I put like a high priority on like health and fitness. So like I have probably 3 or 4 hours out of the day that I'm like walking the dog or like going to CrossFit or like surfing or something where like I'm doing that. And so maybe they don't do that, but they spend that time with their girlfriend. So, they're not like losing that amount of time. But for me, like, because like I wouldn't be willing to give up like my lifestyle. So like I'd have that and I'd have like shorter poker hours and like girlfriend, etc. That's how it would break down for me. It wouldn't break down that way for everyone.
Actually, Danielle asked a good question. Something I was wondering too. Like, how much do you still study poker? How much are you? Is GTO like a big thing that exists in these mixed games, the live games, or is it something you can work on really at that once you get to that level?
No, you definitely can.
I mean, so you have to show like exact straight. You don't have to tell like exactly things you do and stuff like that. So, but
I mean, most of, like. Just the way I think about poker in general, which I assume is pretty standard for everyone, is like I'm a range-based thinker, like, and that's what I think. And one of my better skills as a poker player, I think, is kind of I get the hang of new games faster than most people, and which is good for me with mixed because there's always new games, like all like the open face variants, all that stuff. Like it's just been good for me because I kind of get the hang of it faster than everyone else for whatever reason. I don't know why. Just
not something specific. Not something specifically like you.
No, I think I just like have a good fundamental way that I think about poker, which I wouldn't even know how to explain it.
Interesting.
But yeah, just I've had an easy time learning new games.
Is that kind of why you've it seems in that way it's almost, I guess, not optimal for you to play no limit or PLO, but also to play these mixed games because 1, people aren't as good as them in theory.
Right.
2, it kind of helps you stay at the curve or ahead of the curve because if there's not these people that are playing online like thousands of hands and you're playing 30 hands an hour,
right,
they're not going to catch up as fast. But kind of doing that, I never something I never thought of why people might play. Is that a reason why you chose to play mixed games, or was it because that those were just the highest stake games at the time? Or
yeah, I mean, honestly, when I moved, so I spent a year in Boston living with non-poker player friends. Just kind of took I didn't take a year of poker. I played online when I was there. But right after Black Friday, I'm 800 pillows here. Yeah, go for it, man. Make yourself.
I'm challenging my posture over here.
Yeah,
and it's I'm failing. I think at it pretty hard. Okay, go ahead.
All right, you good?
Okay, that's way better. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I moved back and just so there wasn't online poker, and I was just like, oh, I'll just play whatever the big game in San Diego is, and it happened to be this like 9-game mix, and so I just jumped in and played. And luckily, it was super soft at the time, so I just kind of crushed it without any real knowledge. But it was like, it was good. I've always liked learning new games. When I played online, I played 8-game, just kind of jumped into 100, 200, 8-game, which is probably bigger than I should have. But it's fun for me. I like learning games. I like to be challenged by better players, and I don't know, it keeps poker fun.
I think what you find is a lot of online guys before used to jump in these mixed games and maybe not do so well. Like you'd see, like I remember Durr jumped into mixed games and didn't quite, maybe not had a success. Phil, I think Phil Galfond to some extent. I don't know if he still is playing. I think actually he's playing a lot of mixed games.
Yeah, I think he plays a lot for it.
He kind of just hopped in there, got it. I know my friend Brian Hastings. He still plays mixed games all the time. He went back. He plays much PLO anymore. And I mean, is it something that you do you enjoy that you want the mixed game route? Do you still wish that you could have just played PLO?
No, I get. I mean, it's hard to say now because I've kind of gone and mixed and I can't go back. But like, I get so bored playing the same game all day, and like full ring PLO playing it live is just unbearable. It's like, it's just such a grind. You have to play so tight to like really play good, and it's just I don't know. It's not that fun at all. I like mix. I like that the game changes all the time. It kind of just keeps you thinking. It keeps your brain motoring the whole day as opposed to like being in one kind of like mode playing one game.
I guess the worry would be when the game's always changing. It's kind of like it's hard for a lot of people to keep adjusting their strategies. You know what I mean? Like I feel like most people would really struggle in that format because they'd be good at 3 games and then they'd be worrying about, all right, let me play tighter in this game, let me play looser in this game, and then they're kind of thinking about that, and then their strategies are.
So it's easier if you're a degenerate like me. I just play a ton of hands in every game. It's nice.
What's that? Ball? You want to play soccer? Oh, football? Sorry, Europeans, we're playing football here now. Nathan says, am I still in California? Yes, we're in San Diego. We're in Ocean Beach right now. We are at Gordo's home at the moment. And there was a, can you run Sims on a rent-a-puppy shop? I don't think that's true, actually. What's up, Tim? Nice to see you, puppy. Puppy. Okay, Stefan, he changed his question. Does the edge compensate for the low number of hands playing the swingy game of PLO?
Like live?
Correct. Yeah. So this is for live. This is Stefan's question earlier. Remember, he said, "Ask him isn't playing primarily live PLO a good opportunity?" Meaning, does the edge compensate for the low number of hands playing PLO because it's a very swingy game?
I mean, yeah. For me, I mean, in San Diego it does because the game's fairly soft here, and like especially when it's a private game, it's pretty big, so it does compensate. Like, I wouldn't go and like grind out a 10-20 full ring game here or anything, but. So, I mean, it's going to be relative. It's a super relative question because, like, everyone's going to have a certain stake that where for them, like, getting less hands in is going to be fine. They're still going to make, like, the same hourly or whatever playing that stake. Just depends on how big you play.
Bruno asked a good question. He says, could you ask Mike which games were the toughest for him to learn? That's actually something I'm really interested in, too. And which games does he have a bigger edge in? That part, if you want to say, you can say. If not, it might not be something you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't even know which games have the bigger edge in because, like,
good at them all.
No, it's not even that. The mix is just different everywhere, and it's always like a different cast of players. So, depending on the lineup, my edge is going to come from different games. Like, I'd say that right now, relatively speaking, to most people who play mix, I'd say my best games are like Badoogie and all the 8 or better games.
Okay, so
Omaha 8 or better and Stud 8 or better.
Okay, I don't know if there's like some secret 8 or better games. How many 8 or better games could there be?
Just those 2. And then
which game or games was hardest for you to learn?
Well, the game that I'm the worst at for sure is Stud, just like regular Stud High. It's not really played in a lot of mixes, so I just don't have as much experience with it. But also, it's like a really complicated game where hand ranges change every street, and it's been really hard for me to get a full grasp of it for whatever reason. I think a lot of people struggle with it, but it's been especially hard for me. And then I'm also just way worse than most of the people I play with at Limit Hold'em, just because a ton of people that have a mixed background kind of started with Limit Hold'em, and it was their first game of choice, whereas I never played it. Like, I played it online in the 8-game mix, but very small sample size, and then it's just not included in the San Diego mix. So relatively speaking, to like the people that I'm playing like the big mix games with in LA and Vegas, I'm like awful at Limit Hold'em.
Isn't Stud High have a lot of material out there written? I know Skolansky, I think we talked about Stud High a bit when I had him on a podcast, and it seems like there's a lot of people out there that have written some good things about Stud High.
Like
I can't think. I don't know. I haven't studied the shit myself. I don't know. Like I asked David about it. I'll ask David Skolansky about that.
It's tough with a game like that because I don't know. I mean, I'm not one of these people that thinks that everyone sucks at poker, but I reserve my like, oh, he's super good for like very few people in poker. So like, if they wrote something about Stud, I would go and read it and just like process it. But I don't necessarily want to like find.
I know what you mean.
I don't necessarily want to find content that's written by someone that like I don't really think is a great poker player, and then process it, and then just like have these like flawed ideas for Stud when I'm playing against good players,
Yeah, well, maybe I was thinking about that. Maybe these are written like probably years ago. That this stuff he was talking about.
Right, and it's like I probably have a fairly good grasp of just like the basic fundamentals, but as far as like getting into like the real bread and butter,
that's what I was just thinking as I asked that question. I was like, wait a second, you're trying to learn stuff. This might be good. I think you're not trying to learn, so you're trying to get like exceptional. At stud.
Exactly.
So, as far as the exceptional at stud, that might be. You're right. That book might not exist. So I can't imagine too many people are. I don't think any people are making videos on that or.
Yeah, but if they are, direct me to them. I'd like to see them.
Share the strategy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nathan says, did Gordo used to be a card runners pro? I swear there was a guy named Gordo. That wasn't this guy.
That wasn't this guy. I made, I believe, like 3 videos for card runners in like 2008. So if that qualifies me as a pro, then so be it. But
could be another Gordo, huh?
No, it was definitely me. I'm pretty sure it was me. I don't know how good the content was. I don't know. I realized shortly thereafter that I didn't really believe in producing training content, and so I quit.
You know, it seemed like everyone around that time was getting very content. They wanted to share they wanted to tell people, make everybody
it's really
better.
Like an ego-driven thing. People just want to have their name out there and like have people look to them for I don't know if it's advice or whatever you want to call it, but I kind of fell into it and I just realized it's just a completely insane thing to do. And just in poker is a specific field. I mean, teaching is great, and like I want to be a teacher when I'm done with poker. I'm all for it, but I mean, let's be honest. Like poker is a financially driven market. Like if you're just cutting your own edge, it's really silly.
Yeah, and I've kind of been saying that for quite a while now. It's kind of something I always advocate when it comes to strategy and the training sites. And even now, you know, PLO, it was almost like it was untouched. There was a couple of videos out there, but not too many videos. But
right, yeah, at that time, for sure. I mean, it was like super silly for me to make a video. Not that, I mean, I'm sure it was an awful video. Like, I played just this completely maniacal, spewy style. Like, I think you had Cole on your podcast a while ago that talks about the Gordo. The Gordo is like a double-suited garbage hand where your 2 high cards are suited and your 2 low cards are suited.
So I was just like, you taught him something, yeah.
Yeah, I was just totally mashing buttons. I mean, it's like, you know, nowadays you would get murdered if you were just like constantly like 3-balling those hands out of position or whatever. But back then, like, people didn't really give enough credence to just like having like the lead in a hand, so you could just 3-bet, c-bet everything, and it just worked, you know. But yeah,
what a nice approach though. 3-bet everything, c-bet.
Yeah.
Easy game.
Nice. And then people either got it in too light or folded too light, or folded too heavy, you know. That's great. Not a lot of middle ground.
The good old days, huh?
Yeah.
Do you remember any of the oh, that's a great fucking question. Speculation. Oh, Gordo, that's a great question. Actually, I don't think Gordo qualifies, Matt, but Matt says Gordo looks like he could appreciate a bigger woman. You into the BGG, the big girl grind. You know what the big girl grind is?
I mean, I can imagine it.
Okay, here's the motto, right? 160 or above. Me, you, Penny. We show you love. 160 or below, gotta go.
Okay.
You a big girl.
160. So
you do CrossFit though, and I've speculated women that do CrossFit are more likely to get to that boundary.
For sure. There's a ton of girls in my gym that are probably right at around 160 that are super smoking hot. They're a little muscly for me.
See, guys?
But no, I dated a 6'1", maybe she was 6'2" girl when I was in Australia, and she was probably pushing 160, but she was like full figured, like I think she models now or something. So you know, it's a little different. I'm not into like I'm pretty fit and healthy, so I'm not into like a lot of like extra weight in that sense. But like, you know, I don't really care.
6'2", 160. Got a receipt on this girl? You see a photo that we're going to get a photo of this girl eventually, guys, maybe off the live stream. I'm going to put it up. We need to see a receipt on this 6'2" Australian girl. Holy, 6'2"?
6'1", maybe. I really don't know.
6'2"?
Maybe I'm imagining it.
How'd you meet her? How did you meet a 6'2" Australian girl?
She was my RA when I studied abroad there.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was charmed by the American in you, huh?
So charmed.
Were you playing poker at this time when you were studying there?
Actually no. Australia was the first time I ever played live poker, and I was like playing online, but I was still doing like the deposit 500, run it into 100,000, cash them out, gamble with the rest, just being an idiot. And
we all do that, right? Deposit 5,000, run up to 100,000, cash out. That's how everyone does that. It's standard.
It was fun for me. It was more like a video game for me back then. But I played like live sessions there for the first time at what was the casino called? Some like it was like Treasure Island.
What city were you in?
I was in Brisbane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a beachy town. But the biggest game there was a half pot limit, no limit game, or it was like a half pot limit hold'em game. So the most you could ever bet was half the pot. It was just insane. It was a 5-10 half pot game.
What?
It was insane. Yeah, like because of some sort of government regulation. Yeah, it was weird. It was super weird.
Sounds like a fun game. Rem says, "How tall is he? 5 foot something." You know what? Honestly, look at the video. You kind of look like you're like 4 foot tall. Okay,
there you go. Is that better?
Yes. You kind of look like you're like 4 feet tall, 65 pounds from that angle right there.
I'm 6 feet tall, but I am pretty thin. I'm like 155.
He says 5 foot something. He's like, is he 5'3"? Like he dates a 6'2" girl.
Yeah. When I dated her, I was just on a stool.
I know, right? So you'd think that CrossFit is the ideal place to be meeting girls and want to get them to 160.
Yeah, probably. I mean, as far as the 160s that I like, because I don't like too much like flab on there. Yeah, I've been running actually some extra simulations lately when it comes to big girls, and I'm realizing that just more to love.
These Mexican girls, man, I gotta tell you, these girls, they're curvy. They got that. It's like their legs are here, and it's like.
Like hips.
Yeah, it's like hips and buns.
Sexy.
Like sexy. Walking around, like I'm walking on.
Yeah, welcome to San Diego, man.
I know we've been in LA. I mean,
yeah.
But some in TV walking the road, and these girls are running by. So these girls you see in Chicago,
great,
yeah, they got the yoga pants on, but you'd see them running by in Chicago. They just got nice ass, and here it's like huge butt. Like I'm like, what are these people just squatting 24 hours a day? Like it's how can it possibly get that way? So, I
beans and rice, man.
Yeah, I see why you want to stay single in San Diego. I've stayed single here for a couple of years too. It just, I've said this a lot. I don't know how someone could be in a relationship in San Diego. It just seems like it would be so challenging because there's so many attractive people everywhere that are smart. And
you just have to nail down an attractive one, right? A smart, attractive one, and then you're okay.
I don't know how people do it out here, man. I couldn't. I'm thinking about it now. I'm just getting tilted. I couldn't do it anymore. So let me. I got my notes list, guys. I've hit approximately 2 things on the note list right now. So that's what happens with these conversations. I write down like 100 things, and then it just
flows.
And then it just kind of flows. So, what do you remember about playing online back before? I saw you battled Isildur a bunch. I was checking up some of the blog posts, and there's just like constant 100K, 200K months, and there's like.
Yeah,
it seems like you did extremely well back then.
Yeah, online poker was good to me. I mean, I kind of benefited from being, like I said, from being around like before PLO became the game that everyone was playing.
Mm.
So like I distinctly I probably had about a solid year and a half of playing in the Stars 2550 game when like there weren't any really like good players playing in it. Like I don't know if people are gonna remember these names, but like this guy Darwinism was the biggest winner in the game back then.
Darwinism, the guy with the avatar of the. I think I played high stakes. He was a winner, a 25K winner.
Yeah, and then Rafi Amit was. I mean, he was actually probably the biggest winner. But then like the games were like very very beautiful. They were super soft. And then I can remember individually which high stakes no limit players crossed over because I remember and like they all. I mean, I'm not gonna say that they all had egos, but like. They all were clearly like very confident in their no limit game. And they jumped into the bigger games almost always, and so like for a long time, hold on.
Let's back up. Let's talk about let's name some names of these players you're talking about here. I can remember Stinger hopped over.
Yeah, so
Phil, Tom.
Well, okay, so Durr and Stinger I played probably the most. I just remember we would like 8 table. It was just great. It was fun. He's a really fun player to play. He's a lot of action. Stinger too, we played a ton of heads up. When Cole went over, we played a lot. Cole was probably the fastest learner. Cole just ravages me. But but all these guys like they came over green, and so like I had like a fairly good edge for a long time in like these 6 max games, and these guys that like to play heads up. So it was good. I had like a really and it was while I was still in school. So like I'd go to class and come back and like grind out like a 6-hour online poker session, like go out. It was cool. It was a good life. I wish I had taken advantage of it like Cole and dropped down and just like, put my nose to the grindstone and just like worked for 3 years when the games were outstanding. But I'm also happy I got the college experience out of it. It's whatever.
I think that was a thing even back in the day. You'd always hear people say, I'm going to drop out of school now to take advantage of this right now while it lasts, knowing that at some point you reach a time period of like this where
Yeah, I mean, I honestly just took it for granted. I mean, it was so easy back then that like I was just like, oh, it's just gonna be like this forever. Like I'm just gonna finish school, have fun, and then I'll go back to making 6 figures a month, whatever. Like it's just not like that anymore, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of even something now to some degree. You hear people saying like, I want to take advantage of it right now in an online world because,
really?
You know, like what could happen in 3 years from now? It's just
I mean, I don't really have a good grasp of what it's like online right now, but like live, you know, I mean, in a lot of games you play, especially like big mixed games, I mean, weak pros are the spots in the game. You know, there's no real pure recreational player. It's just like pros that are slowly going busted that you're playing in the game for. So it's just you know, it's tough out there. It's very dog eat dog.
It's a pretty interesting thing so these are live games in the casino then? Mm-hmm. The weaker regs usually the spot?
Yeah, I mean in a lot of games that is going to be the case these days, like a lot, especially mixed games.
Are these people all playing on their own action? Is there a lot of selling action that goes on in these games?
I've never,
because I know a lot of people I know play the high stake. They play these games. They're selling a bunch of action.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the regular games that I play in, typically there will be 1 or 2 guys that are put in by someone. You know, like, and it's tough to say what, like, if it's because of a favor, because their backer actually thinks that they're, you know, going to be a winning player in the game. It's kind of like it's a weird line. But then, and like I've never really been involved in staking or buying action or selling action. I just kind of stay away from all of it. I find it's, you know, less of a headache, whatever for me.
Right. Yeah.
But I would imagine it goes on to a certain extent. But like in LA, people are just kind of firing their own money. It seems like San Diego's a little different because it's like I know all the players, so I know more or less what everyone's like financial situation is. Mm-hmm. But when I'm traveling, you know, I just assume people are on their own action. I don't really know.
I always wonder how the LA, like, people just have that much money there if they're like.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, you know, the younger pros that I know well that I see in Vegas and LA and all the other stops that I go to, like those guys I know are just like killing it. And they have like legitimate fish still to go and drop by that are like, you know, keeping the economy running. This
negative 90 BB per 100 losers who just come and make the game worthwhile for everybody, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Rems asks if there's any shady private game stories. Are they all legit? I mean, I can't imagine they're not all legit, Rems, but you have any stories you can share with us? Some of your more memorable private game without maybe.
It's gonna be. I mean, all the shady stuff. Like, I've never been in a game where there's been cheating involved, which like a lot of people have been. Mm-hmm. So I've been lucky in that sense. But I'm pretty careful about the games I play in. I wouldn't really go to like some ultra high stakes game where I didn't really know anyone. You know, like I don't take big shots like that in private games. Most of the shady stuff that comes from private games is people not getting paid, and then so it's like, you know, a host will not get paid by one of the recreational players that comes, and then there's a trickle down effect, and so certain players will not get paid. And typically in games where you know, if you're a pro and you're allowed in the game, like you're kind of the first person to get fucked. So it's never happened to me, but you know, that's the most likely thing that'll happen for private game as far as like the shady stuff that goes on is you won't get paid if you're one of the pros, or you'll get like a discounted pay or whatever.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the
like cost of doing business sort of thing.
Necessary evils of playing private, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Is that how it works? The recreational players come, they sometimes just play in credit. If they lose, they pay up.
I mean, all private games are credit these days.
Oh, really? So even when you go, there's no
cash exchange. And it's all like check based. When, you know, players lose, they'll write checks, and then it's kind of that's how like almost all private games work.
Oh, okay. Just for safer security reasons and stuff like that?
Yeah. Just, you know, so if like the game gets robbed, you know, there's no money or
right.
something. But you know, every now and then the game will get sniffed. And then it kind of trickles down. Usually the people that run the game don't want to take the hit.
So of course they want to take the hit.
Yeah.
You think these people are making a lot of money running these games with their
It depends on the game. I mean, the guys that run the LA games make a killing. They make like, you know, I mean, from what I hear, they pull like upwards of like 40,000, 50,000 a night in rake. I mean, the games are big, but that's, you know, that's a big figure.
Is that why more people start games? I'm sure a lot of people see that number and they're like, holy shit, I want to start a game now.
Definitely. And then, I mean, you know, you're taking on a lot of risk when you start a game. I mean, you're taking all the legal responsibility. So, in a sense, it makes sense that they get paid that much. But so, I mean, yeah, every now and then you'll see some numbers that are truly astronomical.
Sounds like if you're out there struggling, you want to What is he talking about? Hide all the razors from that dog. Speculation your dog might be on suicide watch right now from the chat. I mean, that's what they're...
These people are crazy, man. I have one of the happiest dogs of all time. She's
I know.
just tired.
Yeah.
She went on a 2-hour walk today. You sickos.
Yeah, guys, calm down. The dog's tired. 2-hour walk. John Charleston says, "Sup, Joey? Shout out the Hitman for hire. Big up, Gordo."
What up?
He says, "Better do some calf raises, man. Legs like toothpicks." I'm not talking about my legs, buddy. You want to do a fucking calf off? I'm in. Let's do it.
I just did some box jumps today, man. My calves were...
I do box jumps all the time. What's your routine for box jumps?
Today is just part of a workout. Today we did like 40 box jump overs on a 24-inch box. So it's like you go from the standing position to over the box.
Okay, so you're not stopping on top. You're just going over it completely?
Over, then you do a burpee, and then you go back. Oh, man.
Ooh, shit. 40?
That was part of the work. The workout today was miserable.
Some challenging. Remember when I do box jumps, I kind of go up, down, and then I try to do like sets of 50 or 100, but definitely get the 100s pushing in. 100's not high. That's kind of the lower box. I go 100, but it's I found it helps to temper basketball endurance and basketball like that lower kind of quadish part of things. So, what's up, dog? Dog, do you have any questions for someone? You have a question for us? No?
She's like, I got a question. When are you gonna throw this head?
Oh shit! Okay. I'm gonna get a dog, man. No, I'm like, oh.
Now you're kind of feeling it. You're like,
I know this dog's awesome, man. Yeah, it's like this is it's a pretty great dog here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was gonna ask about when you were talking about the dating out here in San Diego. How do you what's your conversation like when it comes to dating? You meet a woman, because I know when I meet women, you go out, they're like, what do you do? Oh, you play poker. What does that mean? You do this, you do like what's your discussion? Because how do you approach that type of thing?
Like, how do I approach talking about what I do for a living?
Talking about poker, maybe how successful you may or may not be, and just like your general lifestyle and stuff like that.
I don't like to talk figures when I first meet women, but I mean, poker's kind of funny because I don't know if this is just like a self-conscious thing that I've had, but I've always felt weird talking about it like in a professional sense, because like I typically like intelligent women that have a career, like are driven, so. And poker just doesn't really. So poker doesn't have that that good of a rep, in the real world. So it's kind of, and just the reality is, we keep track with money. Like that's how you know if you're like a good poker player, if you're successful. So it's like you don't want to really go out there and be like, oh yeah, I've made a killing, like I'm so rich. But you want to get across the point that you're like a good player, that you play high stakes, that you can like support, support a girl, support whatever. Right. So it's kind of a tricky thing. And
how do you go upon doing it? How do you go upon portraying that you may or may not be the type of guy that could attract that type of woman?
Right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can kind of like be like, oh, like if you talk about how the traveling you do every year, or like just kind of like if you just like, my lifestyle is like admittedly cool lifestyle. Like poker's been really great. Like I travel a lot. Like I've gotten to see some awesome places, and I mean, these girls aren't stupid. They can get the hint. They're just like, oh, just like traveling, like plays here, plays big here, whatever.
That's it's kind of the same thing I've noticed that when you talk to, because as you said, when you talk to women that may or may not have some success in their own lives and maybe a little bit more aware of the type of person they might be talking to or what they like or what they want, normally it's like I feel like you have to present yourself, I guess, a little bit nicer. And talking about traveling and mentioning that you have this lifestyle where obviously you're able to support yourself and maybe support someone else.
Right.
It's something that really attracts.
Yeah, but it's important. The older you get, like the more kind of like that's just what the women that I go out with are like looking for, I think. So that's it just comes up.
Yeah. Gordo versus Jungle Man lady game. Jungle Man's this like low key woman beast.
Stop.
I'm serious. Wait, no. Do you know? I'm being serious right now. I'm not. This has been verified.
I thought he had a little girlfriend. He dated that girl from like Romania or something.
No,
I verified this.
Jay Kuhn verified this. He's seen this in action. He said Jungle Man is because I was talking to Jungle Man about women and in different countries. He named off like 25 countries where he's met women at. And I was like,
it's outrageous.
I was like, what is Jungle Man talking about right now? And then Jay Kuhn verified the receipt.
kills it, huh? I mean, I'm gonna say I'm a little surprised, but that's good, man. Good for him.
Yeah, I kind of want to do.
I mean, I don't have that much game. If he can list off 25 countries, that's him, man. I give up. Like, hands up, man. I got it.
I was just like, stomach. I'm juggling man around the world like this, man.
I'm gonna follow this guy.
I know. So sorry, Ant. Gordo versus Jungle Man might not be taking place. Yeah. Why'd you stop blogging? John asks.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I really like writing. It's too bad that I stopped blogging. I guess like when I quit online poker, I just felt like if I had a blog, it'd have to be like poker, like Poker Central. And once I stopped playing online, I didn't feel like I could really produce enough content to make it worthwhile for people to read. But
don't you also think that? So let's say people followed your blog, your card runners blog before. They followed your high stakes adventures playing online, and I mean, kind of look at what you're doing now. I mean, what you're doing now is something that it's essentially what people kind of dream about getting to, right? They dream about doing well at online, getting to a point where they can sort of like live this sort of lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you kind of like it's almost like they're entertained by it. They're a little bit inspired by it too. Just you kind of showing them like where you're at now, like what you're doing now, and you said you're very active in CrossFit. Right. You enjoy traveling. You enjoy the outdoor sports. Do you do any other outdoor sports at all?
I try to go climbing outdoors as much as possible. Mm-hmm. I haven't been a ton in the last like half a year, but for a period for like a year or two, I went a lot.
I mean, I think people would love to hear about things like that. Because, as you said, you love writing. So
I do. No, I actually do. Yeah, I could pick it back up again. I honestly just felt like I wasn't going to be able to produce like good content regularly enough to make it worthwhile. Mm. And maybe I'm off on that basis, but
yeah, I think that's kind of why I stopped. I mean, at some point, you also don't want to like always talk about like I'm doing this, I'm doing exactly. That. Like that's how I stopped blogging. I was like.
It's like, yeah, cool. Like, it's like I go climbing or like I go surfing or whatever. Like a ton of people do that. It's not unique in any way to me,
Yeah, I think that's like the whole entire idea of blogging or like writing, blogging, video blogging has always been like, even Facebook to some extent. It's just like showing off kind of.
Yeah, I mean that's
what you're doing, and it's it's something that I've certainly as I gotten older I've stopped doing completely for the most part. Just because.
Yeah, I'm not active on like social media aside from poker stuff really at all anymore.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's like all showy, it's just like, oh, look at how cool my life is.
I know.
Whereas just live your life, man. It's like, it's cool, just live it.
Yeah. You're in a battle with the dog right now? It's like a war?
Yeah, we are entangled.
What's the dog? Half poodle, half woolly? You said half poodle, half, what was that?
Half golden retriever.
Half golden retriever, half poodle. That's a labradoodle?
Golden doodle.
Golden doodle. Golden doodle. Do you have a Juggle Man impression?
A Juggle Man impression?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
We always ask for Juggle Man impressions. So,
it's kind of tough to do because he's not very talkative. So it's like a staring impression. I can do one of his like rage at the poker table impressions, but it's just really like slamming things down. It's just like you go from like really quiet and then you see the rage build and it's just like a
like jump out and get scared. Okay, I see how it is. Okay, what looks like that? Holy shit! Try it out.
She got
female or what? Okay. Bang bang. Just had an offer, guys. First time on the live stream. I had an offer on the live stream.
She's not that type of girl, man.
Welcome to my life, guys. This is kind of what it's like. You walk around San Diego, girls are just coming up to you.
Yeah.
You said you live in here with a female as well, a girl?
I do, yeah.
Now, this was, I seem like a unique situation. It's a ex-girlfriend's best friend?
So, yeah, I live with a platonic female friend who is my high school girlfriend's best friend.
I never heard of this. Platonic friend. Tell me more about what a platonic friend is.
Yeah.
I don't know what this means. Platonic opposate sex friend. I don't know what this means.
It's like, you see like Arrested Development where he's in jail. It's like, no touching, no touching. It's like that. No touching. We're friends, It's whatever. She's cool.
I never, Puppy! What's up, Ludwig? Puppy! That's a pretty good Jungle Man impression, Epicurus says, though. But yeah, I've never heard of this platonic friendship. I was actually talking with a friend last night, and she said she watches movies with a friend. They hang out, a male friend. They just watch movies. Like
they like cuddle up and watch.
No, they just hang out. She like hangs out with guys and watches movies. And I was like, I've never heard of that.
That's legit. You never had like a female friend that you just like hang out with, but you guys don't sleep together?
Not watch a movie though.
Yeah.
Like we maybe play a chess or
play chess.
Yeah. Okay. Like a board game or something like that.
Okay.
I never heard of that. No, maybe I feel like I'm doing it wrong.
I mean, maybe it's just not your scene. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I've had female friends like all throughout college and onward, so it's whatever. It's not really a big of a change for me. And she's cool. She like, look at how clean my house is, man. It would never be like this if I lived alone.
Oh, I thought you were like this really super clean dude. You like take care of it.
Oh no, man. No. I mean, I'm a fairly clean dude, but like, we have flowers here. This looks good, man. It's fresh, all decorated. You see?
I'll give a little like flip around, guys. This is super unique. It's like a cabin. It's got like I don't know if I said this. This is wooden ceiling.
Yeah, it's basically like a wood cabin. It's pretty sweet, actually. It's a cool little house.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you see some of these, not necessarily LA, but like a beach town focused television show. One show that I know I used to always watch. What was it on FX? It was so good. It was based in Ocean Beach.
Really?
Yeah. You ever heard it? It was like on for 1 or 2 seasons. I gotta look this up. If anyone knows the show that was on FX, where it was like 2 cops. And it was one of my favorite shows, and then they canceled it. But it was based in Ocean Beach. It's kind of like that scene, this whole life. It's like a house. You're on a hill, which is pretty cool. You got the view. I can't quite see the view out the window, but you got the gazebo in the back. You got the little massage studio out there for your massage side business that you do, where you give out massages to people.
Yeah, that's how I make money to support my poker habit.
You give out massages to people?
Yeah. No, my roommate's a masseuse, just so everyone understands.
Do you ever befriend people from your poker games and hang out with them? Do you make friends? And
yeah, definitely.
With non-poker players too?
Like non-pros, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like one of the guys that plays, he actually lives 4 blocks down the street. You know, he's a recreational player. He's got his own businesses here. He's a cool dude. Mm-hmm. He like owns one of the bars in OB. So like I see him every now and then, have him over for drinks. And then I have, like the younger professionals I hang out with fairly frequently.
Do you ever like actively maybe befriend a player in the games who you might think it'd be almost good to get on good terms with because they are active in the game? They're more of a fun player instead of you know what I mean? Like that seems like it could be a strategy that some people would take.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really make friends motivated by like I think they're gonna be able to like help me out in a poker game or financially or anything. I'm just kind of friendly in general. So like I'm talkative, social. So it's I mean I tend to just be friendly with everyone I play with some small exceptions, and that's just the way it is.
I wonder about making friends in poker games. I wonder if anyone out there like what their experiences are with making friends at like the 5-10 table or the 10-20 game or something like that, because it seems like the people do the same things you do, but a lot of live players have a lot of these like bad reputations. Maybe that's gone away a bit now. Maybe the pros that are still around now tend to be more on the I guess people you might want to spend time with or trust or be friends with, and maybe the guys who are a bit shady kind of got weeded out along the way too.
I mean that's definitely going to happen because the guys that have shady reputations have it because like for one reason or another, like they needed money or they needed something, and it's it all boils down to like not making enough from poker. So yeah, they're going to be the first ones to go. Yeah. So it's just going to get like the professional pool is going to get cleaner and cleaner, I would guess, as poker gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah, Tim said, I know this is something you're very active in. How much open-faced Chinese do you play these days?
I play a ton. Basically, I'll wake up and within 3 minutes of having my eyes open, I'll be playing my moves. And then if I'm playing live poker, I'll have my iPad out and I'll be playing. So basically, the only time I'm not playing open face is if I'm like out, like if I'm like on a date or doing something where otherwise it's just like I'll be doing whatever it is I'm doing. I'll just have my phone out and I'll be like making random moves.
That much open face Chinese?
I play a ton. Yeah.
Did someone say? I'm trying to remember if I talked to someone who said they might be one of the better open face Chinese players they know. I don't know if you want to tell people you're that big. Whoa, Jesus. Okay, I might be scared. Sorry, someone just jumped at me. Now my fear of dogs really showing. People are gonna fucking attack me with a dog. Now I look like a fucking noob here, man. Holy, it's like I have something to jump on.
He's a super menacing.
I know.
Dog,
I think this doesn't seem. I just got a little nervous, He jumped at me. Hey, I couldn't help it. Okay, open face.
Okay, back to the open face. Yeah, he was just trying to cuddle with you, man.
I realized it was freaky. I understand. I got a little.
Open face Chinese. Yeah, I mean, I have heard that. I don't know why people think that. Since I'm like, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm pretty good. Like as far as the app goes, I'm more or less even because I've lost big in like the biggest games that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah, I mean, I've put time into it, so I'd expect to be pretty good.
Like, how does that work when you play people open face? Is it the same people? How do you meet new people? Like, is there a community of open face community?
Personally, I was gonna say I personally don't play anyone that's recommended to me that I don't know, but that's a lie because I've done that once and I got crushed by a random Russian gentleman that I didn't really know before I played. Not one of my wisest decisions. But yeah, typically I won't play people unless I have a pretty good idea of their character and financial situation, since it is all on
credit.
It's all.
What happened with the Russian person?
I mean, I just got smashed, and there was a rumor going around that there may or may not have been cheating involved, and there's like a app that circulated where like it proved that people were cheating on like the old open face app, but like, and I had a huge figure that I'd lost, and like, you know, a lot of like random Russian players that were linked to it, so it was like a big fiasco in the open face world about 5 or 6 months ago. Yeah.
Holy shit. This was wow. What was the app that before that was this on? In case people are playing on that, I mean, what's the app that people it could have been programmed for?
It was the ABC app. I think that's what it was, like the one with like the green background and the dragon. Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah. So the whole thing about it was like it was proven that this app did exist, but it was never proven who was cheating or anything. You know, it's a very hard thing to have like physical proof for. So it was a very tricky situation for a lot of people that have been playing that had figures. And I personally chose to pay mine down. I know there were other people that didn't, and it's just kind of like I don't think either choice is wrong or right.
That sucks. I mean, I guess that's the risk you.
Yeah, I mean that's just I made a stupid decision and got punished for it, and it is what it is.
So what's the app people are playing on now? If someone out there wants to try open face, what's the app we got to download?
So I personally play on I think it's called Play Pineapple. It's the one that has like a little yellow pineapple emoji. I don't know. I think
Play Pineapple.
I think so. Yeah.
Do you ever play with Brian Hastings?
I think we played a few games way back when, like on the original app, the one that was one card at a time.
Okay.
So that was a while ago, but I haven't really played any poker with Brian for a while. Probably not since last series.
Yeah, he introduced it to me, and
okay.
I was at his house. He's like, "You want to play open face Chinese?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Come on, let's play. We'll play real small." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh fuck, I'll play with you. Fine." I haven't played the game since.
Yeah.
He like punished me so hard. I'm like, "Man, fuck this. I'm not
no more, man.
No more, man. No more. No, I'm not playing with him no more, man. Or I'm not fighting. I haven't played since really.
All right. I mean,
but it seems like is it like the variations are fun, right?
Yeah. So it's like one of those things. Like I said, like I'm like good at picking up like a new variation of the game. So that's kind of why I like it, because it keeps changing. Like people keep inventing new stuff for the game, and so it's been fun. The game's already morphed like 5 times in the last 2 or 3 years, and so.
Oh, so it's not the original.
No, because at first it was you get 5, and then you peel one card at a time, and then people introduced Fantasyland, and then all these other variations. Like there's all sorts of crazy stuff you can get into with it that people play.
What's it like now? What's the variation like? How does it work?
I'd say the most popular one now is it's Pineapple. So you're getting 3 cards at a time. So you get your first 5, you set them, then you get 3 at a time, and you discard 1. But people play it with a Deuce to 7 in the middle. So you're making a low hand in the middle, and then a high hand on bottom, and a high hand on top. So the royalties are a little bit different.
So the hand on the top has to be higher than the hand on the bottom?
No, the other way around.
Oh, hand on the bottom has to be higher than the hand on the top. Okay, yeah. So if you get is it still if you get queens are better up top or jacks are better up top?
Kings are better to go to Fantasyland, or if you have the nut low in the middle, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, you go to Fantasyland. So yeah, it's like slightly different, and then you have to have a qualifier. So like you have to make 10 or better in the middle, or else your hand's fouled.
Meaning, so you're 10 or lower in the middle.
Yeah, so you have to make you have 5 cards that are non-flush, non-straight, that are a 10 or lower.
This sounds fucking complicated. Jeez, I mean, it's my first time ever hearing about it. It sounds pretty complicated though. So it's so those that don't know open face Chinese, you can Google it, because I think some people might not know the game. But it's like a 5-card hand in the middle, 5 card on bottom, 5 card in the middle, 3 cards up top, and you need to go best. That Fantasyland is queens are better. What was it originally? Queens are better.
Queens are better.
Originally, queens are better on the top, which is sometimes you gamble for that. But now this whole variation, this sounds fucking crazy. So a low in the middle, you need a 10 or lower to qualify.
Right.
Dude, that sounds. And Fantasyland's kings up top, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 in the middle. And
so in this version, you can foul your Fantasyland hands, like if you just can't make a low.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's like that has to make it so much more interesting when it comes to strategy and like, how do you even break that down? I know there's some people that they're really running numbers on certain situations and figuring out like what's optimal usage of cards and.
That's why it's good that the game's been changing so often. So it's like I highly doubt that anyone's really pinned down a specific GTO way to play open phase, which is why it's fun still. Because everyone's kind of trying out their own thing and experimenting and seeing what's best, and it's just cool. You kind of get to decide for yourself rather than be told what's right at this point, and that's the part of poker games that I like.
That actually sounds really fun.
Yeah, and that's why that's why I sought out Mix in the first place, and why I really enjoy playing new games is because it's much more fun to be creative yourself and try to figure out for yourself, and to already know that there's like a game theory optimal way to play and just kind of learn it.
It's kind of I actually approach podcasting that same way, which is kind of probably not the optimal way to do it, but I just kind of like doing things and see what happens. Like that seems way more like I don't know about rewarding, even kind of rewarding, but just more fun.
I mean, it's definitely more fun, and I actually find it more rewarding. I mean, it's cool to know that that you kind of came to the same conclusion yourself, that you were like able to work it out for yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that's cool. It's like a gratifying feeling.
I think so too. It's kind of why, it's the approach I've always taken. Instead of like really studying how people do other things or how they like copying what someone might be successful, I just try something out. And obviously with gambling though, you're unfortunately playing with a lot of money. So do you ever play smaller stakes? Is it just
I probably should every now and then, but I really don't. I mean, in San Diego, like if I'm just super bored, I'll play like 10-20 PLO, or I'll play like 150, 300 mix or something if I just have totally nothing to do and I'm stranded somewhere. But I typically don't take those games too seriously, so I just play like an asshole. Mm-hmm. So I either play things that are like significant to my hourly, or I just don't play at all.
Do you have a lot of poker friends that you still talk poker with in terms of like open face strategy or mixed game strategy? Is there like one guy, maybe a live reg that you potentially talk with, or do you have any online guys? Okay.
Honestly, I really don't talk too much strategy because like the other big winning pro that plays mixed in San Diego, which like most people here probably know, Rami Bukai, like really nice dude, but like keeps like fairly to himself. He's like kind of quieter. He doesn't talk a ton of strategy, and so like there's no like everyone else is either kind of like a stinky nit or like or just someone that like I don't think I'd benefit much from talking to. So as far as like mix goes, I don't really talk to people. I do a lot of friends here that play No Limit professionally, and so like I'll talk to them if I ever have like I mean, I don't ever play No Limit outside of a tournament, but like if I ever have a spot in a tournament that I'm not sure about, I'll talk about that. But really, like I really haven't been tossing down a strategy back and forth. It'll be nice to have Cole here when he moves, because if he plays mixed, like there'll be someone that like I can legitimately talk to, which would be sweet.
Has Cole been playing any mixed? I thought he's played PLO a lot lately.
I think he has been playing some like 400, 800 mix online.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Talk about that at all.
I know JRB's super pumped up right now, so he's been playing online.
Oh, John Robert Bolande?
Uh-huh.
What's his screen? Is it Secret or something?
No, it's like what is it?
On Stars or Full Tilt?
It's probably on both sides.
Hey,
but
yo, what up, Slave Show, puppy?
His Stars name was like, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, if you just look at, like, if you just find Big Stakes Badoogie, because he's been playing a lot recently, he's playing like Big Stakes Badoogie, he'll be playing.
JRB's been playing. Where's he out of the country? I guess he's not in Vegas playing live right now, huh?
Well, he's been like, he's big time now. He's been playing private in like the biggest games ever. So
I guess he had some wins in those private games.
Yeah,
right? He seems like he'd also be a good networker too. I'm sure
he's played some big wins. Yeah, I'm sure he's all the talk right now.
Talk where? Really? Where's this talk? Is this true?
Like
I haven't heard anything about him. I haven't heard anything about him.
There's been like, I mean, just between like mixed players or whatever. There's been like big games in Vegas that he's been playing every now and then, and he's just been like doing well in his private games. So.
Nice. I guess that's eventually you got to run good, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude is. What is that guy's tennis player's name? Djokovic. You look like him in disguise almost.
I do?
Well, because also the quality of the camera right now with the Wi-Fi, it's not as strong as normally would be.
Man. He's a handsome fucking dude.
Yeah, dude. His wife is exceptionally attractive as well. Someone asked a good question. They said, in regards to open face Chinese, Balbalki. What up, Balbalki? The thrill of poker is the deception/bluff. From my understanding, open-faced Chinese, you try to make the better combination of hands so as there is no playing the player. Why is it becoming popular?
That's actually true. That is a good question. It's popular. I think it's popular because it's a poker style that really appeals to fish. Because I think one of the things that can be a little intimidating for people, like recreational players, is just like this insecurity about whether or not they're like playing right or like learning or getting better. Mm-hmm. Whereas with open face, I mean, Pineapple's a little bit different because like there's discards involved. But like the original open face, like every decision is transparent. You know, like bad players when they're playing, they get to watch like pros put their cards down every time, so they get to see a street and then see how the pro plays it, and then I mean, whether or not they actually learn by mimicry or learn by watching is up to them. But like I think that's the main appeal of it, is that every decision is straightforward and visible, and like you can see it, and it's just like it's nice. I don't know. I think that appeals to it, but also it's just a fun game. That there's huge swings. Like every now and then you get to go to Fantasyland, you get all your cards at once. It's just like there's enough variability in the game to make it fun.
Are there any like low stakes, micro stakes variations of these games? Like how do people find games if someone out there wanted to play?
Well, I think a lot of people have like downloaded the app, learned, play with their friends. Mm-hmm. So they'll play like $1 a point or something. But in a casino, like I think over the summer you can find 10 a point, 25 a point, which like I wouldn't call it micro stakes. People can still lose like with thousands, 10,000s, whatever, playing those stakes. But yeah, the only real way to learn would be to download it and play with your friends, play against the computer or something.
And they put these variations in the game. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, someone wants to play for not like $25 a point, like what's micro stakes, the Gordo over here. I'll play. I want to play some, as long as you're not Stinger. I'm not playing Stinger anymore. I'm not enough money to that type of stuff. So they said JRB's nickname is Jacqueline, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
He was on some picture partying with Isildur and Ivy.
Yep, that makes sense, man. He's big time.
I guess so. Do you? Who are your poker friends out here? So Cosmo. That's why I saw you with the other night, Cosmo.
So I see Dave Podgorski a bunch. This guy Dave Schnettler, his brother Jeff Schnettler. It's all these guys that like played, I guess, primarily No Limit back in the online days, and that kind of like played a lot of games here every now and then.
That P-Funk, Dave Podgorski.
Oh yeah.
A secret legend in the GIF world for creative GIFs. The man behind. I feel like I should get him on a podcast. The man behind Life with Face Cards.
Yeah, it's probably pretty interesting. That was huge, right? People really got into that.
Then you actually did you you speculated why you might think he might not do it anymore.
Oh, just because he wasn't producing enough content?
Yeah, now he stopped. He quit doing it. Why do you think he quit doing it?
Oh yeah, it's because he finally started playing live and making a lot of money. So I think he was just finally like, oh yeah, like I could actually play poker. I don't have to just like make gifts about it.
Oh my god, I was laughing.
I legitimately think that's what happened. He was just like, oh, holy shit, you can make a lot of money playing live poker. And he was like, I'm out. I got a baby. I got mouths to feed.
Bang bang. He's got the new child over there.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's been. He always tells me the funniest fucking stories
about live poker.
About like all these like.
About all the guys.
He does like all the dynamics like that because. I'm always like, tell me about this more that's live. He's like, tell me 3 stories. I'm like, these stories are awesome. I was like, I don't think we could ever repeat these anywhere on like a public.
Probably not.
It's like,
it's an interesting poker climate here. Let's just say that.
It seems like it is. I mean, San Diego, there's La Jolla. There's just so many wealthy people out here.
Yeah.
And it just seems that there would be.
Yeah, if only the card rooms here were nicer, because I feel like it's a big, because they're like not in the greatest areas. But if there was just like a nice card room somewhere in like La Jolla, oh man. San Diego would be popping.
There's not really one nice one. There's Palomar, which is, Palomar in San Diego. It's like Palomar is like it's like a convenience store size of a convenience store, basically, like a 7-Eleven, and it's got some poker tables in there, like 5 or 6 or 8 or something like that. And the people there seem to be pretty nice, but it's certainly not like the.
It's not a Vegas card room, that's for sure.
Yeah, and there's where else do people play? Do people play at Village Club?
Village Club. I mean, actually, Village Club is gonna be nicer. So they just remodeled. They moved into like a really nice building. It's actually gonna be open, I guess, pretty soon. We'll see how it gets run. Not the world's best owner, but they have a shot to like actually be a really nice casino. But it's all the way out in Chula Vista, so it's a pretty long drive for anyone coming from Del Mar, La Jolla, or one of the nicer areas.
Chula Vista, maybe not the best place you want to bring a lot of money to.
No, I mean, it's okay, honestly. I always felt safe playing in the little card room.
Oh, really?
That's not really the big deal. It's just like, yeah, I don't know if people really want to make the drive there, but we'll see when it opens.
I'm sure you're hoping people make the drive there, huh?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'd rather play than not.
Yeah. You also won a bracelet, I believe, right? You won a World Series poker bracelet. That's your tournament glory right there. Is that the extent of your tournament glory? You got any other glorious tournament moments in
my actual tournament glory is there used to be a 5K mix event in the Bahamas for PCA every year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and I won that tournament my first year. Then the second year I won. The next year I finished second. Then the third year I won it, and then they took it off the map. So I never had a chance to just like run it over.
What was the actual event? What was it?
This is a 5K 8-game event.
Oh, and this is like your.
Yeah, that was my jam, and then it got deleted.
Do you still play a lot of tournaments now anywhere?
Besides
World Series, that's it.
I grind out the series tournaments because of like the 25K fantasy draft, and
because you participate in that, or?
Yeah, so the first year that I had a piece of the team, like I was on the team, so I just felt like motivated to grind. So I played like 35 tournaments. But in general, I just like to play. I like to make a little bracelet bets and play.
Yeah. The 25K fantasy, for those that don't know, I actually joined the $500 fantasy last year, the $200 or whatever. It's people like 8 teams get together. They draft fantasy draft style players playing in the World Series for different dollar amounts. They get a certain amount of money, and then they do points. I'll actually probably do something like that this year for podcast listeners if they're interested in participating in that, because it actually makes railing it
so much fun,
infinitely more fun.
Yeah, like, I'm always in Vegas for the whole summer, and like anytime I want to sweat, I just pop open Poker News, and like either a guy on my team is doing well and he's deep in the tournament, or like a team that I'm anti-sweating, like they have a guy deep. So like either way, like usually I'm anti-sweating, but like either way, I get to follow along and have a little sweat.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing something like that this year for the group of people I know that watch podcasts and stuff, because I think that'll be fun. Probably do like a little preview, make it like a big like little fun event.
Yeah.
And I guess before last year, the guy just had you submit your team to him.
Yeah, I think David Baker did it. Right?
Yeah. Right. And there was like a bigger one that was like the Dan Lograno was a part of on. And Dan Lograno, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning. Cute gay couple. Yeah, this is my boyfriend here. Hold on, we don't have much. We don't allow negativity in the chats. We gotta give our first Kim Jong Joey ban of the day here today. Cute gay couple. We would make a cute gay, I guess. I mean, that's what we would. Right?
Two good-looking guys.
In theory, yeah. You know, one guy's a little clean shaven, one guy's got the facial hair going on, 2 guys in a tank top sitting on a couch.
Yeah, you know.
That's
San Diego living.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have Daniel Grano Kid Poker. He's gonna be on Monday night, 5 p.m. Eastern. I probably should at the beginning, but I forgot. So I'm pretty sure 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday. You met Daniel before?
I have, yeah. So I do the draft with him every year, and we usually have a side bet. So usually I see him at LEPC and I get paid. This year he didn't have any money on him. It was a bummer. I could have used it too because I got smashed.
Bang bang, man! You're sending bang 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 bang. Low key shots over here, man. Yeah. Are you hoping to get a side bet with him again this year?
Yeah, I mean, so far I think I'm 2-0. So,
do you want to share any strategy going into a 25K fantasy draft? Like, what should people look for? Like, how can we play better because we're noobs? You know,
I mean, really, you just want to make sure that the people you're drafting are playing a lot of tournaments. You know, it's all about volume. And you like the way that his is structured. You want guys that play mixed because just like winning a tournament is so big. So you want guys that play small field events. So you want guys that are playing like all the 10K random games.
Hold on a second. Just writing some things down, guys. Hold on for my future pool. There's people that play a lot. I need to really remember this because last year I drafted a terrible team. I was like, oh, 3 of these guys barely played anything. So it was just like.
Yeah, that's basically the main skill is talking to people beforehand and knowing who's playing and who's not.
Yeah. Wim says, how late is that in European time? Right now, guys, it is 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So 2.5 hours before this time will be the when that will be with Daniel on Monday. And better go hide your money. Daniel's coming for the rake. See, that's why, and this is why, actually, after I started talking with Daniel, and you said you mentioned him before you talked with him, like I think his 2+2 image is a lot different than his like maybe public the way things he talks about.
What's his 2+2 image? I have no idea.
Well, he's very like been anti-player lately with a lot of his PokerStars support. So a lot of people on 2+2 they don't like him very much at all. Like they just
really?
think he's like this big shill for 2+2. He's this like, I don't want to say terrible person. They almost seem like he's this like bad person for the poker community in a way. It seems
really?
like, yeah.
I mean,
and
he's like one of the best ambassadors of all time. He's a really nice dude. He's I think his moral compass is in the right place almost always. You know, he takes some stuff too far every now and then, but he's a really nice guy.
That's what I thought too. Just having a discussion with him for like 25 minutes, and I was.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that plays poker for a living should be super grateful to him. I mean, he's like really paved the way for a lot of people, and he's been like a great ambassador. I mean, he takes so much time out of his life to do all the public bullshit, all like the advertising, promotional. He like never ever turns down a fan for an autograph or a photo. That's like pretty tough. I mean, especially when you're playing and like losing. A lot of guys get irritated, and he's just always got a smile. It's honestly pretty rare.
Yeah, I think that like the poker celebrity is something that was important at a time. Like to have these celebrities that people looked up to when they came to Vegas. Like, oh, there's Phil Hellmuth, there's Phil Ivey, there's these guys. And with Daniel, he's kind of one of the people in here who said that does take the time out all the time. And
he's very good about it. Probably the best.
I think he's kind of a, see you later, Bruno, puppy. Take it easy. Bruno's our lawyer friend in Brazil.
Okay.
He loves big booty girls.
Good for him.
He loves getting high and coming to the podcast and commenting sometimes.
That sounds great, man. I'm all about his life. That sounds fantastic.
Bruno's the man. But actually, like, Daniel's kind of, I think the way he handles people is kind of like something people, I especially could look at. Just see how he talks to people and interacts with people that might be fans of his or enjoy his banter, enjoy him in general. So I think it's she gets a lot of dislike though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it comes with the spotlight. No, you're never going to get 100% adoration. It's just the way it is.
It's kind of true. Do you deal with a lot of negativity from people, I guess, in your life at all, or is it kind of?
No, people don't really know who I am. I mean,
it's not. You seem like pretty. You stay pretty low key for the most part. You have your friends that you hang out with.
Yeah. I mean, I stay as far away from drama as possible. There's a few people in the poker world that I don't really click with, for whatever reason. I mean, it's like I don't really want to get into drama.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I gotta ask the question. They sometimes get mad at me if I don't ask questions like that. They're like, you don't like ask like pro people sometimes on like certain things, but I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't want people to
like the only stuff that like really ever bothers me is like players like mistreating dealers or just like mistreating players at the table. So like, you know, guys that have a reputation for that play the same games as I do. Those are, you know, people want to make their own conclusions. Those are the guys that I have like weird beef with. But
yeah,
you know,
that makes sense.
It's not very pervasive. It's not a big deal.
Standard Jazz says that there's something about Daniel that isn't genuine.
I can see how people think that.
I can definitely see how people think that too, though.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, he might be right. You know, he's not one of my close friends. I have no idea. You know, maybe he does have this like protective bubble over himself, and you know, kind of interacts with everyone at like an arm's length away. I don't really know. Maybe that is true.
I can see that. I feel like I do that probably same thing too. When I interact with people, it's, you know, you kind of like.
Yeah, you keep people at like a little bit of a distance. I mean,
do you feel that you're the same way when it comes to that? When
I'm actually. People? I mean, maybe when I first meet people, but I'm pretty good about being myself with like everyone. I don't really like censor myself too much. I just kind of speak my mind.
Even when you just meet new people to begin with, so you're not like. I think we were talking about dinner the other day. We've had a really interesting discussion because we were talking about me and Christian Flanders, who. Well, they don't know. Christian's the biggest winner on 2 fucking poker sites, man. This guy's the Christian Flanders is the biggest winner on Ultimate Bet. Obviously, lost most of that money, and in New Jersey poker. This kid is one of the smartest kids. I feel like he's a really smart kid, man.
He is. He's an intelligent guy.
I like talking to him, but maybe you don't think he's smart. But yeah, we were talking about I guess dating and women and like the idea of like how you approach dating and dealing with rejection from people and dealing with different dynamics, and it kind of seemed like you had this similar outlook on those type of topics that me and Christian were said. Just naturally, it seems like your approach of people is almost like be yourself completely. And if someone likes you...
Well, especially, I mean, that's definitely true for dating. Because, like, dating is tough in the sense that you can kind of get wrapped up in these, like, meaningless things where, like, you don't really care about them, they don't care about you, but you just become, like, entangled in a way. And it just wastes, you know, like, weeks, months, whatever of your life. Whereas, like, how do you say it? Like, if you're just genuine right from the get-go, like, if a person likes you, awesome, they're liking you, you know, like, so it's going to make for a good, like, solid foundation for a relationship. But if you're kind of trying to be someone that you're not and, like, putting on this show for someone to like you, then okay, like they might like that, but like eventually you're gonna have to be yourself, and if yourself doesn't click with that person, then you just wasted your time. Like, what's the point? I mean,
so equating this to live poker now, do you think that if you didn't do that as much, maybe if you weren't yourself as much sometimes,
oh, it would definitely help.
That it would help you in these games.
100%.
And where do you think the balance comes in between how much you should potentially not be yourself for the ability to make money getting these games?
I mean, I'm just not willing to sacrifice that. Like,
that's like a big thing. I feel like a lot of people are willing.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. I mean, I'm just not willing to go in there and like lie about what I do for a living and like make up all this bullshit. You know, like I think if I go in there, they know I'm a professional poker player and I socialize and I'm fun. Then you know, if that's not good enough, then fuck it. It's just not for me.
That line is, you know, interesting to see which people cross over that line. Which people
I
are
think
like.
A lot of people cross that line, and like I wouldn't blame anyone for doing it. I mean, it's an easy way to make a lot of money. You know, it's just it's not something that I'm personally comfortable doing.
I think that makes. I think that's a skill. Is that almost not being yourself is in a weird way a skill in some settings.
Yeah,
and like
definitely.
a skill in like that setting, it's almost a skill.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, being able to, I guess, play an exploitative approach to each person you meet. You know what I mean? It's almost like you become a new person.
Yeah, but that's like, and then at that point you get to like kind of like the hustling aspect of the profession. It's just like I just don't want to be a hustler, you know. So
you think hustling's like a pretty big thing, I guess, in what happens with people these days, like in poker as edges become smaller and
for sure, as far as private games go, yeah, that's one big hustle. I mean, like everyone's hustling in that, and it's it's okay.
I guess this is one of the deterrents I've always had for live poker is that private poker rather is that I don't know. It seems like it's such like a cutthroat place to be, and it's almost like builds bad habits in a way. If you want to succeed in that, you have to change your. It's like you're pandering. You're pandering the fun players. You're scenes and talking shit about other people potentially to like get someone on your side. And
yeah, people definitely do that. I mean, there's a ton of like little drama in live poker, especially in private poker, and it's just for the most part, people are willing to do it to gain personal advantage. And like I mean, I don't do it, but I'm not necessarily sure that doing it is wrong. It's just I just don't care to do it. I don't want to fill my life with that kind of drama.
It's like a moral dilemma. Are you big into any cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, anything like that? Are you participate in any of the crypto poker or anything?
No, I have so Rob Mizrahi and his brothers, they started a Bitcoin site, Get Lucky Poker, and I'm like kind of a pro on their site. I think I haven't even like opened an account yet, but it's actually like a really slick site if people want to check it out. Get Lucky Poker. So I mean, it looks really good and it's Bitcoin based and it has like a lot of games. It has OpenFace on there. It has everything. So I don't know. I have involvement with it in that sense, but I haven't invested or anything.
Like I met someone the other day who they're in the early stages of having a crypto poker site, and like I don't even know how they can operate. Like how can the Mizrahis have a Bitcoin poker site in the United States? Like do you know anything about that? Have you ever read into any of that legality of those things? It seems like it's such a gray area.
It is.
It almost
totally is. I don't know. I'll leave that to them and their lawyers. I really don't know. I'd assume that they're based offshore, but who knows?
Yeah, it just seems like I'd be scared to be involved with something like that and then have something happen where they take you know what I mean, being a pro, especially if you're being a pro on the site.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't have equity. Maybe I do. I don't even remember what deal I did. I don't know.
Wait, is the site having been a success?
I mean, the site it hasn't even gotten off. Like it hasn't really even gotten its feet wet. It's been like all beginning stages of like making the site slicker and making it more functional.
Okay, so it seems like you should know if you have some.
I definitely should.
You should know if I have 5% or 10% or something like that. So
I should, but I'm an idiot.
An idiot who's good at poker. I don't think you're maybe not as idiot as you might be leading on here. So we're talking about a couple more things. We'll take a couple questions, guys. If any of you guys have any questions, go ahead in the chat. Let me know. I'm gonna check. I don't know where my phone is. So I was gonna check Twitter, see if anybody said anything on Twitter about things. I don't think it's on Twitter. I just have to go to the bathroom really bad. Someone asked you a question, so I can go to the bathroom and pee because I've been drinking a lot of water here. I think I actually brushed up on a lot of these topics I had on here. The commerce, the joys of commerce. Oh yeah, toughest opponent back in the day.
Toughest like heads up opponent?
Yeah, toughest heads up opponent you remember battling with that gave you the most problems, or someone that you just I guess CTS you mentioned besides
yeah, I was gonna
CTS.
say like I didn't really quit a lot of people. I quit Cole eventually. Phil Galfon was really good.
Oh, Phil, even back then.
Yeah, but he like doesn't really give a lot of action, so I never really enjoyed playing with him that much. But like I quit him really early on. Cole was like the toughest player that I played that gave a ton of action that I wound up quitting. And then I had the most fun playing Isildur. That was just a blast every time. The swings were outrageous.
Yeah, Isildur. I saw you had some epic Isildur 1 sessions. I found on Google and stuff like that when I was looking up. I usually don't Google, but I needed to.
We played a lot. So much.
Did you think, what do you think about his game? Do you think he was good? Was he...
When he's running good, he is unbearable to play against. Because, like, you just have to take a lot of high variance spots against him. Like, you just have to click call in, like, a ton of situations. And when he's running good, it's just, like, absolutely infuriating. But, I mean... I don't know if he's changed, but back when I played him, I mean, his tilt issues were out of this world. So, like, if he lost the first few buy-ins, it was just like a landslide.
Meaning, so he's 3-betting a lot more. He's
like 5-betting a lot more.
Oh, I mean, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, he 3-bets a ton either way, but like, yeah, he was just like super loose with the 5-bet, like and you know, he basically just like would get it in. Like if he had like 40%, like it was going in, you know, like or if he thought he had 40%, like if the money was gonna get in there. I mean, that was back then. I don't know if it's different now. I'd assume that you know it is because I've heard people say that he's become like a world-class PLO player. That's a PLO player, but like I know Phil was saying that he got a ton better. But,
really? I don't think he plays much PLO anymore online. I don't think he plays any heads of PLO online.
Oh, is that right?
People would be playing. I mean, I'm sure like the forts and jungle would be like Hacks, Hollywood Hacks, and they'd be playing them too. Hollywood Hacks, shout to Hollywood Hacks.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. I mean. Does he play online still?
I think he plays a lot, but I think he plays more mixed game stuff. I don't
know. Mixed now?
Yeah, he plays. Oh, hey, Gordo. Hey, Gordo's getting excited. He just got Scare Boy. You play with Scare Boy, right?
I have, yeah.
Scare Boy in the chat asks, recently tuned in. Great guest. Thanks, Scare Boy. When is your next online comeback, Mike? Have you considered coming back? Some of these mixed games had to tempt you after Black Friday. Now that you know Isildur is also playing. The bathroom while you answer that. Bathroom's back down.
Yeah, it's just around the planet. Okay. As far as making a comeback to online. I mean, I've never thought about like making a comeback, but I mean, I've wanted to play online. Obviously, it's super fun. It's what I did for so long, and it's it's how I initially got into poker. So I definitely wanted to, but I just the trade off for leaving the country wasn't ever really there for me. Like, and to play, I'd really have to make the move. I wouldn't be comfortable like doing the VPN that some of these guys do, just because I'd want to play big. When I play online, I like to play kind of like the bigger stakes and the tougher games, so I'd have to have a lot of money on there, and I just wouldn't really feel comfortable doing it unless I really lived abroad and truly, wasn't playing from the States. So no comeback for me until it's legal in the States, I'm afraid. But yeah, I've definitely been tempted. I mean, there have been all these guys that have basically been learning learning the studs at like 1K, 2K. So, clearly I want to get in there and play a little bit, but I haven't for the meantime. Maybe someday.
And that mirror in the bathroom is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's like randomly just huge.
It's a legit mirror.
I know that mirror is sick. Oh, shout out to Scareboy. Scareboy not broke from yesterday's session. What happened? Andreas, did you lose a lot of money, dude? What have you been playing, Andreas? You're playing like 10, 20. What the hell has Andreas been playing? Someone said that I cut my hair. I cut the sides shorter, but the top is still growing out long. How expensive is life in San Diego? Tim asks.
I mean, I guess it's fairly expensive. I'm not really, I've only lived in San Diego, Boston, and St. Louis, Missouri, where I grew up. So St. Louis, obviously, way cheaper. Boston, about the same as San Diego. Just as so I live in kind of like a hippier beach community in San Diego. So a lot of the nicer ones would be more expensive. But I guess this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and then detached studio with a bath, and I pay $2,800 a month, and it's like 5 blocks from the beach. So I don't even know how that compares to the rest of the country. I'd assume it's fairly expensive, but nothing crazy.
It's pretty expensive, yeah. Wash my hands next time. I wash my hands fast. Jonathan McCowan, a.k.a. Cosmo, asks, hey, Gordo, how much money are you up in golf?
What a fucking idiot. So Cos, for those that don't know, I golf with him all the time. He annihilates me in golf and then gives me the needles relentlessly. So I'm not going to answer that out of self-respect.
All right, so what's the 2 questions I always want to ask? If you had to give one piece of poker advice to people watching out there, What would you give them?
As far as like people that want to get better, or
people that want to get better, yeah.
A
way to get better, maybe a mental note.
I mean, you know, like what everyone else probably just have to put in volume. Like you just have to play a lot of hands. Like I mean, obviously training videos and everything are great, but the problem with mimicking someone's style is it's not always going to be suited to you. So you kind of have to figure out your own style. And then once you figure that out, you know, you can watch videos and learn new tricks and all that. But I think that first you have to put in volume and figure out how you think and how you operate, what your style is, and then play a ton of hands, you know, and go from there.
And one piece of life advice you could give people out there that are maybe wanting to improve their own.
I would say don't get sucked too far into poker. For me personally, I've always kept a lot of balance, and it keeps me like happy and like motivated to keep playing poker. Because if you just play all day, every day, you know, you lose track of your sleep, your schedule. I don't know. For me personally, it becomes unpleasant. It just becomes like overwhelming. Because then when you're losing, it's like all you can think about, and then the wins just don't feel as good. And so for me, it's kind of like I mean, I don't know. I think I handle my swings better than most people anyway. But like the swings don't really faze me anymore. And yeah, I mean, I like having a ton of other hobbies, mostly like outdoor, like getting outside and running around related, and it just keeps me happier. So I would just say keep some balance in your life. Don't let poker totally overtake your life.
Did somebody else come here
right now?
Yeah.
No.
The light came on?
No, I think just the sun is setting. So
so somebody just came and I was like, where'd they come from? Okay, we'll wrap it up with a couple more questions from people out there.
Okay.
Andreas says, any fun Lucky Gump stories or thoughts? Lucky Gump, a true legend of the PLO world.
Yeah, so he was one of the guys I was playing back when I first got into PLO.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so like, I really, like, it's hard for me to believe that it's been the same person the whole time, because when I first started playing, he was an unbelievable whale. Just like easily the worst player in the game, dumping every single day. And then very, very quickly he became very tough. Like he actually like jumped ahead of the curve somehow back when all the no limit guys were transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And he became one of the tougher players. He was one of the only guys that was like 4 and 5 betting super light, and he was just like incredibly aggro, whereas he used to just be like passive, like, you know, call and bad spots nonstop, and he just switched gears instantly. He just like disappeared for a few months, came back, and was like very good. And I mean, you know, we all have the same Lucky Gump stories, right? Andreas, you know, he like 8 bets you with the ace king 7-8 double suited and gets there against your aces. Like we all have that story. He's like notorious for putting in like the 7th and 8th bet with like the ace king jack X and just like getting there. And like everyone that's played 25-50 on Stars has at least one of those stories where you're like 7 binds deep and he just stacks you with the ace king X rundown and you have aces. And I mean, that's just the way it goes.
No, those games don't exist anymore, I don't think. Lucky Gump, I don't know if he plays. I think he might play. He plays mixed games too.
Yeah. Oh, does he? Great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Sorry to tell you, he plays mixed games too now. Doesn't play PLO anymore, or he might play 5-card PLO or 5-card PLO 8 or something like that.
Online. That's like the big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't railed into games, and I have no idea if their 5-card PLO is running that high. But I know a couple of 4-card guys started playing 5-card mainly, and now they're.
Yeah, I think there's a few guys that are keeping those games going.
Yeah,
I've heard.
If you had to suggest 2 podcast guests for me to have on, podcast guests, because technically you were a suggestion from Cole, I believe, last time, and then Cosmo was like, "Oh, you should have him on."
So I'm not sure who you've had on and who you haven't. So that
name a couple names. They've had him on or not?
Okay. Interesting guys. Let's see. I mean, guys that you'd be interested in hearing from. That's what I was trying to figure out. Have you had Phil on here?
Phil Galfond?
Yeah.
I haven't had Phil Galfond on yet, no.
I like to see Phil. How about, what's his first name? Shit. Oh, Ben Tolerone?
Ben 86.
Yeah.
That's what, he's like best friends with Jason Kuhn. So.
Right. Have you had him on here?
I haven't had Ben on yet either, no.
I'd like to hear one with Ben. Or like Sauce. I'd like to see.
Sauce too. I haven't had Sauce on either. I'm saving the heavy hitters for some point in time in the future. Those guys are like the heavy hitters. You have Sauce or Ben 86 or Phil on.
But those are all the guys that
the beasts, right?
Yeah, that like I had a hard time playing against. So I'd be interested in like hearing their thought process and general attitudes towards poker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, off the top of my head, those guys. They're probably like a few like live mix. Like I actually like. I mean, like this would probably never happen because he's just a dick. But like if you could get like David Oppenheim on, like I'd like to hear what poker was like for him growing up and how it's morphed throughout the years. But he's just like a bizarre character. I doubt he'd ever do it.
I don't know. Like I know people that know him, so I could.
Yeah, hey, if you,
you never know.
If you can get him on here, that'd be awesome.
I think I think for some people like that, it's like you almost have to meet them.
Yeah,
and talk to them, and then if once they meet you, they're at first they don't fuck this guy, I don't even fucking podcast this guy. But then if they meet you, then they're like, oh,
exactly.
I think it'd be fun to do it. So he seems like the kind of person we'd actually have a fun discussion about all kinds of different things. So
yeah, definitely.
And he's obviously Rami Bukai. That's the guy you mentioned, right?
Yeah,
the other live player.
Yeah, so he's the guy that plays big here in San Diego.
Does he have a 2+2 name or anything like that?
Like Arabian Night.
Oh, Arabian Night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's him.
Yep.
Isn't he Stars on Stars too?
Yeah, so yeah, he plays still because he goes down to Tijuana and plays.
Oh, I used to play with him on Stars back in the day. Then
Yeah,
I got him and Rafi and Meat confused, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was in I played something big in Vegas. I was like, "Aren't you Arabian Night?" He's like, "No." I was like, "What's your name?" Is it Rafi and Meat?
No, Rami is a much more relaxed, typically nicer guy than Rafi. Although Rafi's actually a pretty nice guy once you get to know him.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. I'm gonna wrap it up. A couple people suggested some of the German pros on.
Yeah.
Fabian Quass, Tobias Grusom, Rami Bukaik, Fatima Mora de Mello.
I don't even know most of these people. That's
Yeah,
that's how far out of the poker scene I am.
Eli Lesro. You probably can't work a computer when it has a cash game store. All right, Penny, you want to say goodbye? The dog? Penny the dog? Scared Boy hasn't seen you yet. You want to come say bye?
Penny is passed out.
The dog's passed out. Scared Boy, I was going to come show her to you. Cosmo, you've already seen Penny the dog. If you want to go back to the beginning of the video, you can see the dog we have here. That's it, Gordo.
Cool.
Much love.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having me.
It was fun. I might be back tomorrow with somebody. I'm not quite sure yet. Couple people lined up, or I'm gonna have on. I wish I knew how to pronounce Adam's last name. I'm having on. Let me just go to my. I want to know. I want to make sure I say his last name right because I don't want to. No, so I'm having on Adam. I'm checking his last name. I'm just gonna keep saying his first name until then. Sorry, Adam. I know you might be listening to, brother. Adam, how do you say it? I still can't pronounce it. Altweiss? Adam Altweiss. He's
that's right.
He's in charge of the Aria Poker Room.
Oh, cool.
He makes sure the Aria Poker Room is the best, debatably best poker room in the entire world.
It's pretty debatable.
Pretty debatable thing, but
Usually the best poker room doesn't run a private game, but hey,
bang. I have something to ask him about. Hey, that's actually something to ask him about. So I'm sure he'll have something to say about that. But yeah, Adam, I met him in LA. He's fun. I really enjoyed talking to him, and he's a fan of the podcast. We're gonna have him on, and Daniel Negreanu Monday night, 5 p.m. Eastern. Pretty sure.
Cool.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else. I feel like I'm missing people. I'm definitely missing people. But that's it. I'll update it on Twitter, Facebook. You want to follow Gordo? Gordo, you don't tweet much anyway, do you?
Over the summers, every now and then. Mostly it's just pictures of the dog.
We love dog pictures. At Gordo16.
MG.
At GordoMG. Me at Junior1. Ruben says be careful with the dog. Puppy! See you later. Cesar, Standard, Bucky, Ruby Love Nuts, John, Tim S, Wim. Peace out, guys. Later.